This is Dan Dix here, reporting for Press for Truth with breaking news today as Alexandre Bissonnette, the man who is accused of killing 6 men at a mosque in Quebec, has pleaded not guilty to all charges. And so today we're going to separate the facts from the fiction here, as this is turning into an all-out attack on free speech in Canada, and it needs to stop. So let's start from the beginning, shall we? On Saturday, January 28th, 2017, at 3:20 in the afternoon, the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, sent out the following tweet. To those fleeing persecution, terror, and war, Canadians will welcome you. Regardless of your faith, diversity is our strength. #Welcome to Canada. The following day, right on cue, on the evening of the 29th, 6 men were killed with 19 others wounded at the Islamic Cultural Center of Quebec City. A man was detained and arrested at the scene who was of Moroccan descent, but he was quickly dismissed as being a suspect, as the police then began to look at him as a witness who was caught up in the aftermath. Witnesses were also describing at the time a man who walked into the mosque prior to the shooting who shouted Allahu Akbar, but this was quickly removed from the official narrative as Alexandre Bissonnette then emerged in the headlines as the lone shooter in the attack. While parked on a bridge far from the site of the shooting, Alexandre Bissonnette made a phone call to the police to tell them of his whereabouts, at which point the Integrated National Security Enforcement Team took full control of the investigation as they apprehended the suspect. Exactly 1 year later, on the anniversary of the attack, despite the fact that there is absolutely zero mention of a motive to date, Justin Trudeau stood in the House of Commons and made the following statement. The victims were gunned down by ignorance and hatred fueled by Islamophobia and racism. But this is based on absolutely zero evidence, which is tantamount to fake news. The fact is, Islam is not a race. And Islamophobia is just a nonsensical term because it implies an irrational fear of something. But there's nothing irrational about having concerns with a religion that is incompatible with Western Christian morals and values. And even though the charges are for first-degree murder, not terrorism, this didn't stop the Prime Minister from also saying this was a terrorist attack against all Canadians, meant to test our resolve and weaken our values. We will continue to fight Islamophobia and take action against it and all other forms of hatred and discrimination and defend the diversity that makes Canada strong. And lo and behold, a motive was planted into the minds of the masses based on absolutely zero evidence to this day. And now we have to deal with people like this. The Twitter account Meanwhile in Canada said, "Dear media, Alexandre Bissonnette walked into a peaceful place of worship, a mosque, and murdered 9 people and injured 16 more. He was a white nationalist terrorist. Call him that." Well, first of all, he allegedly murdered 6 men, not 9, and he injured 19, not 16, so we're already off to an extremely uninformed start here. They followed that up by saying, FYI, in Canada, Section 83.01 of the Criminal Code defines terrorism as an act committed in whole or in part for a political, religious, or ideological purpose, objective, or cause with the intention of intimidating the public. To which I had to respond, how the hell do you know that? For all you know, this wasn't done for political, religious, or ideological purposes at all. Maybe it was a breakup gone bad for all you know. You are adding to the problem by spewing a narrative that has been fed to you with zero evidence whatsoever. And it looks like they couldn't handle my logic and reasoning and calling them out as a part of the problem for promoting fake news, because when I tried to look at the account again, we now find this. Sorry, you are unauthorized to see this status. You are blocked from following @MeanwhileInCana and viewing @MeanwhileInCana's tweets. To all my Twitter friends out there who are not blocked, you know what to do. So do you see just how bad this is getting here? Pieces of legislation like Motion 103 have been tabled combating so-called Islamophobia, all based on a lie. Because they don't want you to question the incompatibility that Islam has with the West, and if you do, well, you're a racist, a white supremacist, and a promoter of hate. This is being done by design, and free speech is under attack, ladies and gentlemen. And this virtue signaling that we're seeing coming down right from the top, the Prime Minister himself, has begun to permeate its way through society, and it's done a number on the minds of the Canadian people. So we need to counter this propaganda now more than ever as much as we possibly can. So today I would ask you to please share this video as well as all the other ones I've made in regards to this case, as I'm trying my best to counter this propaganda with videos like Quebec terror attack, what they're not telling you, the truth about xenophobia, Quebec heavily divided in the wake of Mosque shooting, Canadian government changes the narrative on the Quebec mosque shooting, mosque shooting motive covered up by INSET, mosque shooting anniversary, and the hijab scissor hoax, a lesson in propaganda and fake news from the Canadian government. So I'm not just going to sit idly by and watch this country be destroyed from the top down with fake news and misinformation. It's time we separate the facts from the fiction here and expose this propaganda for what it is. So click on that like button and leave a comment, as it really does help with YouTube's algorithms that have been designed to stop my videos from being seen, because they don't want the truth getting out there. But with your help, it will. And be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube if you haven't already. And if you'd like to support my efforts in countering this propaganda, please consider joining as a PFT patron or by donating at pressfortruth.ca/donate. Links are located in the description below. So thanks for watching, my friends. Keep fighting the good fight, and stay tuned. We've got more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth.